All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Dash. The double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rules well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of this video is The Writing is on the Wall. All right, so, basically this devil, Esau Edom, is being found out, you know, regarding his evil plans and schemes, whether it be, World War III. In that aspect, what Russia clearly sees that America will not stop. The banking elites, the lobbyists, they will not stop. They're pushing Russia further and further to war. They're realizing that, uh, the situation in Israel. They're already preparing for another attack from Israel, Iran, because they see Israel isn't going to stop. They're still talking about the genocide being committed over in the land of Israel, right? And just the different laws and things. MOTB is what I'm going into, of course, but MOTB, people are waking up to that fact, right? Not everyone, but eventually everyone will. This is Job, because it says, Abraham the wicked shall come upon him, right? And that's exactly what's happening, because he's been found out to be the wicked. Job 20. Sorry, 15. Job 20 and 15, it says, he, right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, have swallowed down riches and shall vomit them up again. Okay, so what happened? He took everyone's riches. He's pocketed the leaders of these different countries and set different leaders against each other while he's taking the resources. And we even see now that he's attacking Venezuela, right, for a lot of different reasons. It's like killing a bird with, or two birds, or a lot of birds with one stone. They're lacking resources. They had resources in Ukraine. Russia took that over, right? And then Russia offered to give it to them, but obviously they're at war, right? That's not the route they want to take. Now they're going over in Venezuela for their natural resources, gold, oil, things like that. So, Job 20:15 says, he has swallowed down riches and shall vomit them up again. Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongues shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. Right. So basically, no good thing is coming for this devil. Right. We're at the end of his empire. Right. The end of an age where the white man is ruling. We're at the end of that thing. He's fighting. To a bit of end. That's why he's coming down with great wrath. It says, Job 20:18, that which he labored for shall be restored, and shall not swallow it down. I just want to make sure this is good. I don't see the light on over there. All right. So Job 20. So anyway, Job 20:17, he shall not see the rivers, but flows the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Right. So everything he has, he's going to lose all of it. It says, because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away an house which he builded not, surely shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his gifts. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Right, and that's exactly what's happening. He's pushing for this digital system, and pretty much the influence of the Most High pouring out His Spirit upon all flesh is getting to these devils, because now you have these different alt media outlets, right? The social medias and things like that, and of course the prophets, right? The voice of Yahweh Bashma Shai are speaking about these things. And this word wicked here goes into the word laborers, so the working class individuals, the ones that are now suffering. Talking about hyperinflation, inflation, the, you know, income from jobs, finding a job, all of that, it's all a part of why the wicked is going to come upon it. You know, this is what Habakkuk 2 speaks on, how long to that increase, to him that increases that which is not his, right? People are complaining about taxes. You drive down the road, tax, put gas in your car, tax, buy something, tax, sell something, tax, then you pay your taxes, all of that. So they upset. But anyway, we're going to get into this MOTB. I'm going to just play it out, and a commentary on it. Lord willing, this doesn't act up. I don't know. So here we go.
And Ivanka Trump in the previous Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump in the previous administration were big advocates for this effort to create a U.S. government agency called HARPA.
All right, so before I begin, and actually, I'm gonna just get Revelation 16 because that's what we're talking about. We're talking 13. We're talking about the MOTB, right? And these devils, right, are pushing for this thing. And, people are aware of this. That's what they're talking about. So that's what she's going to go into. This is Revelation 13 and 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the end of the beast. So it's in his devil's power to actually bring forth this new world order, by this digital age, which he will do. He will, roll this thing out and cause both small and great, rich and poor to receive this mark. This as the scripture says. Right? It says, and he had power to give life unto the end of the beast, that any of the beasts should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship under the beast should be killed. Yeah, so you're going to take this thing or you're going to die, right? Unless you're the Lord's elect whom you will protect. It says, and he causes all, the small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, right? And this goes to the RFID chip, that are the grain of rice that the elder apostles have been pushing, right? Since the 69, 1970s, right? It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark. So you're going to need this device, this chip to, buy or sell. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. There's wisdom, let him have understanding, count the number of the beast, or is the number of the man, and this number 606, which goes to the number 666, and Esau even is tied to that number, right? 666, you always see it. And there's other different whatever alphabet programs you set up with other images, somehow, some way to always point to the 666, So, let's go.
Which is like this health DARPA. And actually, Biden created it, but under different metrics. He said it was about curing cancer and called it ARPA-H. They moved the H to the back. But the architect of HARPA is this guy.
Hold on, girl.
Named Bob Wright, who was a longtime friend of Trump's because he ran NBC Universal, which hosted Trump's The Apprentice show. And so Bob Wright was basically pitching this program, and the biggest advocates again for it were Kushner and Ivanka. And the program, the acronym for it is Safe Homes. And that's kind of a long acronym. So again, I'm not going to remember exactly what it stands for, but I've written about it in the past, and I'm sure if you search for it, you'll be able to find it. But essentially what this program was saying is that it was a way to stop mass shootings in the United States before they happen. And so this was being pitched in 2019, late 2019, when there was a spate of mass shootings. All
right, so this devil, been plotting on this, been preparing, the world for this. Isaiah 10:1 says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, that right grievousness which they have prescribed, right? To turn aside the leader from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that wills may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. So, this was their master plan, to issue forth this MOTB. And they have prescribed these things. Donald Trump came in office, executive orders already written up. He's even signed them asking, oh, what does this one say? They say that he signed it.
United States. And essentially, this program argued that they could stop mass shootings before they happen if they use an artificial intelligence algorithm.
Right, there you go. So what do we see happening now? The Palantir, right? Gideon, right? These things that's able to track and pre, you know, basically know what you're gonna do while you think you're gonna do it or something like that. You have different shows and movies that go into that. The one I refer to, it was a show on Netflix, which I believe they took down. It's called Person of Interest. Right? You had a mass artificial intelligence computer that would do exactly what we're talking about now in the world, is as in track crime before it happens. People plotting to do, mass shootings or whatever uh, attacks that they're going to do. This computer would, search that out before it can happen, and then it would send agents to go in there and, arrest the person, basically. So all this sci-fi movies that they invented was pointing to what the age and time they're living in now, right? Where they're moving on, they're glad to implement these things.
To analyze American social media posts and then identify early warning signs of neuropsychiatric violence. And then based on that and data on perhaps the poster's mental health data or any other sort of antecedent could then basically result in court-ordered medical interventions, preventative detention, like house arrest, all sorts of things, essentially criminalizing social media posts in the name of stopping crime before it happens. So this is definitely something that has been considered by government for some time, and it's definitely something I would argue the infrastructure for it has been advanced in a bipartisan way by Republican and Democrat administrations alike. It's definitely, in my opinion, a long-standing national security agenda that is, if not openly, bipartisanly supported. It is so, at least privately, because you can see that through the policy actions of really every administration since 9/11. So,
right. So the writing is on the walls. She just said it so clearly. She said since 9/11, things have been heading in a direction of what? Total control, right? Aaron Russo and Nick Rockefeller, right? Aaron Russo said what? Or Nick Rockefeller told Aaron Russo that they want to implement these things. I believe he had even told him about 9/11 before it happened, and Nick Rockefeller, spoke about these things and saying that they want, Aaron Russo spoke about these things saying they want total control. So Nick Rockefeller, right, and Aaron Russo, that's something you can search up on Google, probably in the chat to bring it up for you, ChatGPT. Find it on YouTube, and you'll find an interview where they spoke about what we're talking about now, right? So as you can see, she said, both parties. This is Revelation 13:11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. He had two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon. Right, so he represents both parties, with the Republican and Democratic Party. But what? He spake as a dragon, going into a draconian measure, right? And this is draconian measures, to have total control, lock people up, stop them from doing things that, they're living to do, tell them when they had too much food or whatnot. So
I think people need to be very aware that the threat for this type of system being implemented more widely does exist because the infrastructure is there, and there have been presidents in the past that have considered pretty disconcerting overreach as far as that's concerned. And every government in the United States or every presidential administration has expanded Palantir's contracting. So now, in the wake of COVID-19, Palantir has all of Americans' health data, basically. They were given that during COVID-19. They were a key partner in Operation Warp Speed, deciding which groups would, receive the vaccine first based on all sorts of metrics. And in doing that, obtained extreme access to Americans' health data. And there's no evidence that they don't share that with intelligence or add that to these profiles that they build on Americans. A lot of the argument for putting AI in charge of, major decision making, whether law enforcement or elsewhere, is that it's innovative, it's cost efficient, it's cheaper, but isn't necessarily.
Right. What is that say? This is fact. This is Psalm 55:20. It says, he hath put forth his hands against such as we have peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, for war was in his heart. Right? His words were softer and oily with a drawn sword. So, there's several comments saying, oh, it's better, it helps you, to either track you to prevent crime and this and that. But ultimately, he just wants control. He wants to kill switch where he control everybody, every person, right? How much you do and what you don't do. And it was given to him to take peace from the earth, right? We see Revelation 6 and 6 and 3. It says, Revelation 6 and 3, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red. Power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. This is the devil. He saw him, right? And that they should kill one another, and they were given unto him a great sword. Yeah, so Esau was blessed with that sword, right? And he's using it even with his digital system. So back to this Psalm 55. Yeah, so that was it. It says the words of his mouth were smooth and butter, but war was in his heart. His words were soft and oily with drawn swords.
Necessarily better. And I think this is going to be an argument that's going to be important going forward with the so-called Department of Government Efficiency to be headed by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. A lot of those guys obviously have a lot of interest in particular AI algorithms and AI companies, some of which they run. Elon Musk in particular was recently funded very heavily by Larry Fink's BlackRock, the low-risk totalitarian government guy. And, if the talking point is, what if the Doge talking point becomes, by increasing efficiency, we're replacing a lot of the human workforce in government with AI? Would that actually functionally shrink government in terms of the size and, influence and power that government programs have over people's lives? Or is it just, basically maintaining the same size, but you're reducing the human workforce and subbing them out for an AI? And I think people should definitely carefully consider a lot of the proposals coming forth of there, because a lot of these big Silicon Valley guys, Elon Musk included, his grandfather was actually the creator, not creator, but the head of the Canadian branch of Technocracy Inc., which wanted to see the United States merge with Canada and Greenland and become basically a North American technate, and basically have this system of experts and engineers and AI essentially. But this is sort of before AI was invented, but technocrats now argue for AI, that should run society instead of really a democratically elected government. Ultimately, that it's better to have society sort of micromanaged by the experts, so to speak. And the undisputed expert on technocracy is Patrick Wood, for anyone that's interested in learning more about that and Technocracy Inc. and how it developed over time. And it's been a very big interest to sort of these elite clans in the U.S. with a lot of
So the point is, this is what's coming, right? And it's coming quick. This is right. This is their peace and safety. This is First Destination 5 and 3. It says, so when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as to dwell upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right. So that's the point we're in, right? So we're they're gonna do this thing, but it's the prototype. It's the first draft, and it won't get far. Right. So shalom to those elect, which consist of men, women, and children. Shalom.